Good morning, I'm Nikki Stanzione.
And I'm Kristen Van Dyke.
And this is New Mexico Style. Welcome back to the show.
Good to be back and all in one piece.
Yes, good to have you back safely. We were just talking about those winds, which you know better than anybody from yesterday, and I was thinking about you flying, and I'm just so glad you're here safely.
It was rough. And let me just say that normally as a meteorologist, it's usually a good thing when you're flying because you have more confidence. You're like, yeah, that's not going to be dangerous.
Right,
Some
exactly.
of the turbulence is nothing. We're fine.
You've got the inside scoop.
Right, but yesterday, this is what happened. So I'm looking at the winds. We had like nearly 60-mile-per-hour winds to the Sunport. I get a picture sent in from a viewer of like wind damage right outside of the Sunport.
They actually sent you a photo of damage?
And she goes, right outside the Sunport from this lady. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's scary. So we're flying in the air. It's bumpy as heck. And then when we're coming down, the pilot gets on. He's like, oh, the wind's not so bad, about 5 miles per hour. And I was like, they are not 5 miles per hour.
Okay.
I know they're not. I was like, this is kind of surprised. And I was like, why does he not know it's windy? I don't know if he was trying to just make us feel better or what. But,
I appreciate that. So. On one hand, I appreciate that he tried to eliminate panic because, as I was saying to you, I hate when they get on the speaker and they say things like, please proceed, and they get that panicky voice.
Right.
That freaks me out more.
Yeah. But then when he says something and I know it's not true.
Right.
I'm probably the only one on there who's like, that is absolutely not true.
That is a lie.
It is windy. I know it is. So it was a little scary being a meteorologist in that situation. But we made it, thankfully. And,
knock on granite.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's okay.
Well, thank God. And, ultimately, when you take a flight, the thing that's funny is when I used to do the weather, too, and they would say, we have delays due to weather, that's funny, too, because you're like, no, you don't. Because there's nothing wrong with the weather. I know the weather. I just looked at the radar, and I know that the reason we're delayed has nothing to do with it. So you kind of do have that inside information when you are a meteorologist, which is cool.
Right. They try to blame it on the weather, too. Remember when the geese flew in New York? I was flying out that day. They said weather, and then everybody's like, no, there was a crash. And
it's crazy
and all that. So don't ever believe what you hear.
In that case, I would say definitely not. But thank goodness you're back safely. And happy Fat Tuesday. It is Mardi Gras. A lot of people celebrating in New Orleans. But unfortunately, somebody not celebrating is one of my favorite actors. Al Pacino has had some trouble with the IRS.
Yeah, and that's never good. What happened?
Okay, so TMZ reported that the Oscar-winning actor owes over more than $100,000. The IRS filed a tax lien against Pacino, claiming that he failed to pay the right amount of taxes in 2008 and 2009. So the actor's rep blamed Pacino's former business manager, Kenneth Starr, and now Al's new management and is going to be looking to get squared away with the feds pretty soon. Not so good. I feel bad. I mean, hello, we love Al Pacino. Can't go wrong with him.
Well, you know what? You have enough money. Pay your taxes, right?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's like when we talk about people like Lindsay Lohan and Winona Ryder stealing things when they're wealthy. And then you talk about, these famous actors and celebrities who are so wealthy evading this tax. I mean, it's just not worth it. The IRS is going to get you.
And you are going to get caught, right?
Yeah. And it makes you lose a lot of sleep. I have to say that. There are a lot of things out there making you lose sleep. Have you actually heard that the bright lights from your electronic devices may actually affect the quality of sleep that you have?
That's right. The National Sleep Foundation surveyed more than 1,500 people. Overall, the survey suggests the majority of Americans aren't getting enough sleep. 95% of those who participated say they use an electronic device within the hour before bed at least a few nights a week.
Now, of the people aged 30 to 64, 2/3 say they watch TV before bed. That is me included. Only about half of younger people do, and they are actually more apt to send and receive texts before bed.
Guilty.
Yes, I'm guilty of that too. Scientists say the problem with bright lights before bed is actually that what happens is that they suppress the release of the hormone melatonin. So, what happens is when that happens to them, they aren't getting that, I guess it's the REM sleep, so not so good.
Yeah, and the survey did not prove that bright lights actually before bed affects sleep, but certainly seeing some issues with the sleep, though.
Yeah, so definitely.
Probably don't do that.
Maybe at least interrupted sleep. And coming up later, we're actually going to be seeing an interview that I did last week about ways to combat insomnia. So we'll do that. Now, the thing with me, and I don't know about you, I don't have insomnia. I could fall asleep right now if I want to. The problem is my mind doesn't shut down. And so even as I start to fall asleep at night, I wake up thinking I don't want to oversleep. I wake up thinking about something I forgot to do.
Yeah.
It's really tough to get a full good night's sleep when you know you have to wake up early.
Yeah, I keep a notepad beside my bed.
Oh, that's
so then when I think about it, instead of worrying about it all night, I just write it down. I'm like, okay, it's taken care of. I wrote it down.
That's a good tip. And you know, we get to sit here in this marvelous kitchen every single day.
Oh my gosh.
But I want to tell everybody that this part is not rough duty at all. The waking up part, not so great. But the rest of it, amazing. It's so gorgeous here. It's comfortable, it's homey, and we love it. And we just want to make sure people realize that.
Yeah, and I especially love the granite countertop. All the gorgeous colors. There's black, gray, caramel. Every color is absolutely beautiful.
Kind of like chocolate and caramel. It makes you hungry. Makes perfect sense. So if you happen to be in the market for a new kitchen, or you just like to check out what's out there,